Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Nicole with the Bushel and a Peg Designs. Today we are working on a 30-ounce straight tumbler from the Tumbler supply store. And to save a little time, I used my little glitter hack that I've done this for quite some time, but it's quite easy. All I do is paint the tumbler like normal, but instead of applying the glitter and then layers of epoxy to make it smooth, I just add the glitter right into the epoxy on the first layer and then apply the epoxy like normal. And as long as you don't put too much glitter, it still comes out a very smooth surface. You will notice here on mine, I had a few little rough looking areas, and I think I put just a tad too much glitter in my epoxy, but I still moved forward because I knew that you wouldn't be able to tell once I added everything to the tumbler. And the glitter that I used for this one is Agenda from Sandy's Organized Chaos Glitters. It is a beautiful white shifty but not too shifty glitter. I thought it would be perfect under these vinyls. I am working with 3 vinyl patterns from my collab collection with 311 Co. And I am using the grungy flag stripes, checks and stars, and scratch. So I wanted to be able to incorporate all of them together without it looking too busy or kind of crazy, because they are all kind of busy in general, so I didn't want to make it look not so pretty by adding them all together. So the way I figured would look the best was I'm going to add the grungy flag stripes on the bottom, and then I knew on the top portion I wanted about 4 squares or 4 check patterns width down. So I just cut off a section off the bottom of the grungy flag stripes because I wanted those brush strokes to still be seen on the bottom. So I added those first, and then I added the top checkered portion, and then that way I knew in the middle what was left, how wide to make the scratch pattern. So after I applied the top portion, I am going to just trim that off, and by luck have it, it literally lined up perfectly for those checks. I couldn't have planned it better that way, even if I tried. But then I'm going to just measure for the scratch pattern and trim that off with my paper trimmer, and then apply that right into the center stripe area. And all of these vinyl prints are printed on clear. This middle one is just clear itself, and then the check pattern and the grungy stripe pattern are all white backed, so they are more opaque behind the colored images, and everything else is transparent. After I lay down all of the pattern vinyls, then I'm going to go in and add some striping. So I am adding a little bit thicker of a white stripe to both the top and the bottom of that scratch pattern, and then in the center of that I am adding a thin red stripe. I decided I wanted to add one more little accent element to it, so I took a very thin silver holographic vinyl stripe, and I am adding that to the bottom portion under the red and white stripe, and then I am going to stripe out every single checkered square line with that same holographic vinyl. you could absolutely choose to add the pattern vinyls and then a coat of epoxy and then add all the striping. But I'll be 100% honest with you, I was a little behind this week, so I wanted to just do it all in one layer so that I could get it done a little bit quicker. But absolutely, whatever works for you or you feel most comfortable with is always the way to do it. So after I added all of the squares, the checkered lines, then I decided to add another vinyl stripe that coordinates with the bottom silver one just so it looks cohesive. And then I'm going to add that, and then I decided that I would also be a rebel and I would go ahead and add the decal right on top of this vinyl as well. This decal also comes in the collection pack, and it is a UV DTF print, which technically means if I wanted to epoxy the whole thing and then add the decal at the very end and not epoxy again, you absolutely could. But I just wanted to add it and then seal it all in with the epoxy. So this one says red, white, and blessed, and I picked a spot where it would be seen most visible, so it didn't blend in as much. And I'm just going to push that down and then peel it off. It peels like butter. These prints are so nice and I absolutely love them. So I added that, and then we are going to go in with a coat of epoxy. After I gave it its coat of epoxy, I saw this glitter on my shelf and I thought, oh, that would be a fun addition. So it was a very last minute thought, but it says the Drunk Flamingo on there on the bottle, but it actually came from Cami Page Boutique. They sold their glitter to Cami Page Boutique, so you can get it from there. And all I did was take a little bit in between my fingers and I just gave it a very light sprinkling. I didn't want to shake it on because I know that I'm very heavy-handed, so I tried my best to just give it a little bit of a dusting, a little bit of a sprinkle, and I love the way it looks like almost white splatter paint with the like surprise red and blue stars. Some spots did get a little heavy, so I just took my popsicle stick and spread those out, and then it was perfect. And then I let that cure, and then I gave it one final coat of epoxy, and this beauty was all done. And today is our final day of our 4th of July series, with featuring all of the prints that I did in my collab with 311 Co. And actually, there is one print that I didn't use, but I will be making a video later on with that print. And I hope that I have inspired you in some way or another. And as usual, I will leave all of the information, where to find me, and all of the products that I used down in the description box. And I will be back next week with another tutorial. And I thank y'all for being here. And remember, if you want to get any of these prints from 311 Co., I do have a code, and you can find that down in the description box. And again, thank y'all so much for all of your love and support every single day. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.